Welcome to Multiversatile. My name is Jake Long, and today I want to take a look back with you at the superhero movies for 2022. These are the DC and Marvel movies. I'm not going to talk much about Sony's Morbius, but I may share my thoughts in a separate video. I will say though that it would rank as number 7. At number 6, Thor Love and Thunder. I was really looking forward to this movie. I've heard a lot of complaints about making Thor far too stupid, and while I do somewhat agree, I think my main issue is the way that they treated Gore. One of the predictions that was going around before the movie came out was that Gore would have an epic battle with Zeus and end up killing him. I didn't want Zeus to die, and I wasn't horribly disappointed with the way he was portrayed in the movie, but I think it probably would have been better to have this prediction come true. Although I do like the fact that Hercules is now coming after Thor. But the issue still remains. Gore was underutilized as well as was Thor, to be honest. I think a better movie would have been an epic journey of Thor and a small team traveling to a few different planets in an effort to save the gods and defeat Gore. He could also learn that many gods didn't seem worth saving, but saving people is what he does. Jane gaining the powers of Thor still could have worked in there too, but maybe done a little differently. Eternity could have been in there too, but the journey to get to it could have been more difficult. Thor and his team could have raced to eternity following Gore and helping other gods along the way. We could have even had him learning about his ability to share his powers, and he could have learned it throughout the course of the movie, instead of just using it at the end. I would have liked to have seen more of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like the premise that was hinted at the end of Avengers Endgame was not lived up to. I understand that it could be hard to not have them steal the show, but I think they could have been more involved. Overall, I did have fun, and it was awesome to see Roy Kent suit up as Hercules. Number 5, I have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This one was fun, and I enjoyed some of Sam Raimi's horror elements, but I was ultimately disappointed with this movie. The multiverse stuff was fun, but could have been better. Bringing in the zombie Strange was a nice touch, and making Scarlet Witch a creepy witch was good, but the chase sequence through the tunnels underneath the Illuminati headquarters didn't quite work when they were running and just stopped and waited for Scarlet Witch to show up. It's not like they didn't have somewhere to go. Having the Illuminati in the mix was cool, but having Xavier so easily defeated in the realm of telepathy was irritating. I would have preferred an epic battle where Doctor Strange joins in and Scarlet Witch has to get away. She doesn't have to be all-powerful to be a major threat. Overall, the spotlight seemed to shine a little too much on Scarlet Witch and America Chavez, but I do look forward to a third movie, and I hope to see most of these characters again soon. And I do like those two characters, but I wanted the focus to be on Doctor Strange. For my number 4 spot, DC's League of Super Pets. This movie is mainly about Superman's dog Krypto, but there are many other pets and even humans like Lex Luthor and the members of the Justice League who play a big role. This movie is a kid's movie. It's a little less serious, of course. It doesn't fit in to the DCEU, and it's not exactly a traditional Elseworld movie, but I think it was done really well, so I'm including it on this list. None of the characters seem superfluous, although some of the Turtles' comments were a little strange for me. The main story is about Krypto learning to let go of Superman's complete attention and learn how to make new friends. Ace, the dog who in the end will belong to Batman, has a strong backstory that allows him to relate to Krypto and ultimately Batman. The villainous guinea pig, Lulu, has an unrequited love and devotion to Lex Luthor that is entertaining to say the least. The actual superheroes get a good amount of screen time, and the other pets have their own journeys as well. This is more of a kid's movie than the others, but I think the more serious movies can learn from it. At number 3 is Black Adam. While this movie is quite obviously derivative in some ways, it was refreshing to see a superhero movie that focuses on its title character. While the movie does bring in the Justice Society, it still centers around Black Adam and his journey. The action scenes were fun to watch, and I enjoyed the fictional city of Kahndaq and its history. The dynamic between Dr. Fate and Hawkman was enjoyable, and it felt like they had been working together for a while. Although it did seem like Dr. Fate didn't really need to die, and I'm not sure how Hawkman was able to control the powers of the helmet. I've heard complaints about the kid, and while I don't think he was the greatest, I don't think he was the worst either. However, the sequence with the family and citizens fighting zombies in the streets felt unnecessary, but I know that they wanted to show the city uniting. I'm not necessarily against CGI armies, but I think I would have rather seen the citizens throwing random items at the devil guy like New Yorkers did with the Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man movie.
You mess with Spidey, you mess with New York! You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!
Anyway, overall, I thought it was a good movie. Admittedly, I might have placed it here because I had such high expectations for Thor and Doctor Strange, but I think this is where it belongs. And I feel like Dwayne Johnson was working hard to save the DCEU, so I appreciate what he was trying to do and the fact that he got Henry Cavill back, even if it was just for a second. My number 2 superhero movie for 2022 is Black Panther. Was a tough one to place because it of course ended up being a lot different than it was originally supposed to be. Having said that, the characters and the actors carried on the legacy in a very respectful way. I really felt for these characters, especially the Queen, Shuri, Okoye, and M'Baku. It was sad that the Queen passed away, but I think those other 3 characters carry a strong legacy, and I would add Nakia to that list as well. Namor was a great antagonist, and I hope they bring him back. 2 things that really stood out to me were Okoye failing to protect Shuri and losing her honor. To me, that sets a big character arc in motion, and I hope they address that more in the future. I see her struggling to forgive herself, and Shuri helping her with that. The second thing is Ironheart. I don't have a problem with her basically copying Iron Man, but I would have liked to see her paying some sort of respect or acknowledgement to him. I know she's super smart on her own, but he still started that technology. It felt more like copying rather than picking up the mantle. And finally, my number 1 superhero movie pick for 2022 is The Batman. This provided us with the 3rd take on Batman in the last decade alone. While I am always excited for a Batman movie, I initially felt a little disappointed about the announcement of this movie because I want to see more of Batman interacting with other heroes. Luckily, this was a really good movie. I'm honestly not surprised though, since Batman is awesome. I feel like The Batman was inspired by Christopher Nolan's trilogy, but Matt Reeves definitely created his own Batman world. The Riddler was the perfect antagonist to introduce us to the more detective side of Batman. I think that the Dark Knight trilogy did show us that aspect of Batman, but not to this extent. Robert Pattinson played the role very well and even perfected the Batman voice that Christian Bale started. Although I think I still prefer Kevin Conroy overall. Paul Dano found the perfect amount of actual weirdo without going too campy or silly, and everyone else was on point as well. Colin Farrell never ceases to amaze me, and his performance as Penguin is the furthest from an exception. Both he and his makeup artists deserve many awards. And it was exciting to learn the history of crime and corruption that made Gotham what it is today, and how Bruce Wayne is connected to all of that. The flooding of the city seemed like a careless oversight from city officials and city planners, but it is such a cool concept that I don't even care. Furthermore, I think the success of The Batman showed the executives at Warner Brothers that the DC brand wasn't dead, but the DCEU might be damaged beyond repair. And now with the rebranding into the DCU, it looks like they're not looking to repair the old model, but to start brand new. However, it looks like The Batman will have its own world separate from the DCU. No matter what though, I look forward to seeing more of that world. Anyway, that is my ranking for the DC and Marvel movies that came out this last year. If you liked this video, I'd appreciate it if you click that like button, and if you feel so inclined, leave a comment below. If you rank these movies differently and you'd like to let me know, then please let me know. And if you want to see more similar videos, click that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and take care.